Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we are in the kitchen at the Urban Table in Corinth Square. Urban Table is owned by the parent company, Bread and Butter Concepts, and its founder and president is Alan Galen. Alan, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen again.
You're welcome. Glad to have you again.
We were at BRGR. Delicious hamburgers, great mixology going on there, and now Urban Table. What is the concept for Urban Table?
The concept itself is really market bistro during the day. So we have breakfast and lunch. Breakfast served every day till 4 p.m. It's very casual. You walk in, you order at the counter, and then you go, then you're seated, and the servers take care of you from there. It's full service after that. And we have some grab-and-go items. We do some retail products where the chefs create some jams and jellies and some different fun stuff. So you could grab something to take home either at night or during the day, or you could grab something for breakfast. We also have a pastry bar, full coffee bar, that we do Intelligentsia coffee out of Chicago. It's a very boutique coffee brand that has really come into its own in the last year or two.
So if I want to stop here for breakfast or lunch, fine. If I don't feel like cooking tonight because I've had a rough day, I could literally come up here and pick up individual dishes, go home and have that dinner at home.
Absolutely, you could do that. And some are pre-made. You know, we have items pre-made, or you could just order off the menu and we could do it.
I have to tell you, you could do a cocktail party within minutes. Just walking through here, you invite some folks over at the last minute, or they're going to drop in at the last minute. You could come here and within 5 to 7 minutes have an entire spread for a
definitely
cocktail party.
the impromptu situation. You could drop by and do that, and then the nighttime concept's different from our day, you know, our lunch and breakfast, where nighttime we do full service dining, starts at 5 p.m. every day. It's a fun way to dine because the menu is made up of a lot of different types of foods that you can eat in a lot of different ways. We have bruschettas, we have some beautiful bruschettas, we do a lot of charcuterie with meats and cheese trays and some fun things that you can add to those. A variety of starters, so you have a lot of small plates you can eat there, and
that's fun to share. It's great social interaction when you're sharing from a common plate there.
Exactly. We want people to come in and drink a bottle of wine and eat around the menu, do stuff like that if that's what you choose to do. Right. You want to mix that with a couple entrees. That's a good way to go too, or you can have just entrees. Our entrees change every day. So we use fresh ingredients that are seasonal that the chefs can get, whether it's seafood or pork or meat or whatever it might be. We usually have 4 or 5 items we do every day, and the chefs create those every morning. So they're able to use fresh things and creative ideas, and it's really fun. And
you can taste that on the plate, that freshness. There's no substitute for it.
Absolutely.
There's no seasoning or cooking you can do that substitutes for fresh seasonal foods.
I mean, it's great because I know those guys did some fish the other day that I'd never even heard of, to be real honest with you, and they said, well, it only comes about 2 weeks a year, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And on top of it, it was beautiful fish, and it was wonderful, and we were able to serve it for about a week while they could get it.
So, your background, you're not a chef. How did you come to Bread and Butter Concepts in these restaurants?
I've been in the restaurant business. It's the only thing I've ever done. I started.
That's why you're so good at it.
I started in the restaurant business when I was in college, waiting tables, bartending, doing all that.
Front of the house, yep.
Yeah, I got into, they asked me to go into management, and I was young enough to say okay. And I've been doing it ever since. I've owned and operated some restaurants in the past. I've been in the corporate world. I was chief operating officer of Houlan's restaurant, so I've got
great
corporate
training, great corporate business.
Gilbert Robinson,
there you go.
So I worked for TGI Fridays Corporation in a multi-unit operation for a long time as well. So you get that corporate background and understanding of that, which is you learn the business piece, and then from there you learn, you enjoy the culinary side. And I worked in enough independent operations that part of me is stronger driven than the corporate side. So right now we have 3 restaurants and we have 3 different concepts. So creating 3 concepts is, for a restaurateur, it doesn't get very.
You're heaven.
It doesn't get better than that.
You're in heaven.
I'm having fun.
And I know that you rely so heavily on the chefs to implement those concepts. So I think we should go talk to your executive chef, Bradley Gilmore. We're lucky to have you here. Thank you again for inviting us into your kitchen.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Okay. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we're continuing our chat here at Urban Table with their executive chef, Bradley Gilmore. Bradley, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen.
No problem, I've enjoyed it.
All right, what was your journey to the Urban Table?
Well, I've been in Kansas City for about 11 years now, and I met Mr. Galen a year and a half ago, and started over at BRGR, and with promises of opening this wonderful concept.
He keeps his promises.
He does keep his promises, and so went over there and we cooked burgers after burger after burger after burger, and then finally started putting this together, and here we are. It's completed, and it's a lovely, lovely place.
Have you had training in a culinary institute, or have you been on the job with yours?
Both. I did Johnson County Community College when I moved out here.
I will tell you, we have many of our fine chefs in Kansas City from that institution. They do a great job.
They do.
They do. Okay, so that was your professional training, and then you did internships.
I did. I started at Grant Street Cafe when my first day in a kitchen under Executive Chef Michael Peterson. He taught me everything I know.
Michael Peterson is gold.
Yes.
He is gold.
He is. He's one of my hugest mentors.
A rare chef.
I agree.
Good for you.
Yeah, I spent about 4 years with him there, and did Yaya's North, and back to Grand Street, and followed him around, went to Segafredo with him for a little while, did City Tavern when it opened. Spent the last 4 years up at Tresamari in the Northland, helped Michael open that, and then when he left, I took over as executive chef there.
You've been a busy young man with some outstanding restaurants here in the city, so you bring great experience with you. All right, what is it that you accomplish here each day? Because the menu is completely driven by you.
It is. The main goal that we try to accomplish every day is making every customer happy. You know, that's the one thing that we really strive on.
That's what it's about.
It's what it's about. With dinner service, being able to bring in different proteins every day and whatever the farmers have local and fresh for us, and create daily specials, and that's just one of the things that we love. It's just, there's no bored downtime here. It's always something new and something fresh.
So you're the man. I mean, you make the menu happen every single day. How do you go about doing that?
What we do is we have a lot of local farmers and local protein purveyors that we stay in contact with every day, and we bring in whatever's local and fresh and whatever's fun at the time, and we get it in, and we kind of just get in that walk-in and decide what's going to go well and work with each other. You know, it's all about making the customer happy and providing a fun new experience every time they come in.
This is the closest thing to what they do in France and in Italy and many of the other Mediterranean countries, where the chef goes to the market. Well, the market comes to you, goes to the market what looks good that day, and that's what they're going to take into their kitchen. And this is very close to that experience here at Urban Table.
Exactly. That's kind of what we've been trying to really build with here in Kansas City. And we can't run out to the market every day, but we do. We work closely with quite a few farmers, and they call us all the time when they've got something new or something's coming right off the vine, and that's what we get in and we play with.
All right, Chef, what are we going to prepare today? What's fresh? What's seasonal?
Well, we're going to do our chocolate French toast that we...
That's always in season.
It's always in season. We bake the bread fresh in-house, warm maple syrup, whipped butter. Then we're going to start to do some polenta fries, a little recipe we've come up with that we make our polenta, and then we deep fry it and serve it with homemade sun-dried tomato ketchup and red chili aioli.
Yum.
And then we're going to finish up with a charcuterie board with a couple of different kinds of cured meats and artisanal cheeses and some grilled bread and orange marmalade and olive oil.
A great fun thing for a group of people to sit around at the end of the day and sip some wine and lunch on that.
Exactly.
Okay, Chef, I think we should go in the kitchen. I think we should start cooking, and I think you should come with us.
All right.
Okay, we are back in the kitchen at the Urban Table, getting ready to make dish number one, which is the chocolate French toast. What do we have here, Chef?
This is our homemade chocolate babka swirl bread. It's a homemade yeast bread that our pastry chef makes, and you can see that when she makes it, she rolls it out.
About the
She's
chocolate.
serious about the chocolate. She puts it in there and rolls it, and then when it's in the pan. It's all this just rolled massive dough and bread.
And this isn't a bread or brioche.
It is like a brioche with lots of chocolate in it.
And you have taken great care to cut that, what, about 3/4 of
Yeah,
an
3/4
inch
to an inch. Yep.
thick. So this is serious French toast.
Serious French toast.
All right, what are we going to do with our bread?
We're going to take
dip
our
it
homemade
in.
French toast batter here that we make every day.
And what's in our batter?
Cream, eggs, cinnamon, sugar, a little bit of nutmeg. Get a nice coating on there.
And I noticed that you don't let it sit for a long period of time.
This bread right here is so rich and so moist that if you let it sit for too long, it's just going to fall apart on you. So we do a quick dipping on it, and we go a little egg heavy in our batter so you can see how it's searing up around here.
Yes. And there will be the recipe to this on the website.
It's going to take about 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side. French toast here is cooked on one side. Flip it over. We got a nice sear on there.
So it's golden.
Golden brown is what you're looking for. Nice and eggy and moist.
Now, if you didn't have chocolate brioche, we used to call it babka.
Babka, yep.
Yes. You could use cinnamon.
You could use cinnamon, you could use a little vanilla, a little almond extract, anything you really kind of have. You could also add flavors to your batter. We had tried this originally with a little bit of chocolate in the batter, and then we made the bread, and we were like,
No,
in the bread's the way to
chocolate
go.
needs to be in the bread.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next dish in the kitchen at the Urban Table is fried polenta. How did we get to these little polenta sticks, Joe?
Well, what we do is we take a basic creamy polenta that we cook with milk and water and Parmesan and butter, and then we put it on a sheet tray and we bake it for about 15 minutes. It really helps it set. Take it out of the oven, take it to the walk-in, cool it, nice and cold, flip it out, cut it into French fries.
That's certainly simple enough. We have the recipe for this on the website. Okay, from here, what do we do?
Well, deep fry them. We use 100% peanut oil. Gives
Because
it a nice,
it really doesn't impart a flavor, and it just
and
keeps
it's
it fresh.
nice high frying
Yes.
temperature. So what we do, don't want to overcrowd your basket because they will stick. Drop those down.
So we're at home attempting to do this. You can use a little basket at home. Use a thermometer to make sure that your oil stays the temperature you want. But again, one of the tricks to getting a successful result is not crowding the product in the basket.
Exactly. You can also pan fry them. A nice pan with a nice even layer of oil. Lay one in there. Turn it when it's over. Cook about 2 or 3 at a time, depending on the size of the pan.
We all can do that, and you know, if you have a cast iron skillet, I think
That would be the best way to go.
that's the best way to
Yes,
go.
ma'am.
When these come out, we plate them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now we're preparing the last dish here at the Urban Table. We're in the kitchen with their sous chef, Danny White. Danny, what are we making?
We are making a charcuterie presentation from our menu,
Okay.
and we have quite a few choices to choose from.
Okay.
First, I'll give you a rundown, and I'll show you how we plate this.
Okay.
Okay, we have a beautiful cheese right here. This is a tête de monde. Tête de monde translates to monk's head. This cheese has been made the same way for 8 centuries now.
I think we've got it down. I think we've got it down. We know how to do it, right?
Yes,
After 8
yes,
centuries,
yes.
Okay. And this is a fun little piece of equipment that you can get at a high-end kitchen supply store. And you said I could do this.
Yes, you
I
can.
can do this.
Let's
But
pull it
this-
forward, maybe make it a little easier for you.
Of course. All right, now, you just go in a circle and you press
A
down.
little bit of pressure, I'll hold it there for you.
Well, I don't want to take your finger up with it.
There's no wrong way to do this.
And this is beautiful. You could use this for chocolate
Yes, chocolate as well.
and cheese. And I'll bet if you had a slab of butter, you could do this as well. Look how pretty that is.
Just lay that anywhere on the board you would
We're going to lay
like.
that. Okay, now what do we have over here?
Okay, this is actually a Garada. Garada is a cheese made from sheep's milk. It comes from the Catalonia region of northern Spain. Very, very light, milky, a little bit nutty. It is classified as a semi-firm cheese.
Okay, and what do we have? And that's beautiful. And what do we have here?
These two products are both La Quercia Farms, which comes from Iowa. This is their prosciutto, which is one of the first things they started to develop.
See, we make prosciutto in America too, not just Italy.
Correct, correct.
Yes, we do. And that?
That is a copa picante. So that's actually a pork shoulder that's rubbed in pimento spice, cumin, and a little bit of red chili.
All right. Now to go along with this, what do we have over here?
Okay, we will be accompanying this with an orange marmalade. So it's essentially just fresh oranges, a little bit of sugar, vinegar, and water, and it's been cooked down to a syrup consistency.
And I should point out, made in-house.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh yes, always. You normally don't think of sweet with savory, but I think it just sets the flavors off beautifully. And what else are we going to offer?
We'll offer a
Our
little bit
guests?
of extra virgin olive oil
Okay.
and cracked pepper.
On top of that.
Presentation for that is we put the pepper in first.
You know, I just learned something because I'm always doing it over and wondering why it gets all over, and now it is really infusing the olive oil. What kind of bread have you selected for this?
This is a sourdough loaf. The reason for the sourdough loaf is it allows us to cut it nice and thick for grilling, and it doesn't get soft and chewy on the inside when we grill it.
It doesn't. All right, so grilled bread, our condiments, cheese, and meat, and I think it's time for us to plate.
All right.
Okay. All right, now we are going to plate this delectable chocolate French toast. Where do we begin, Chef?
Well, we take our French toast, we'll take our first piece, put it on the edge of the plate here. We like to do a stack. Take the next one, layer it up. You can smell that chocolate.
And I can smell cinnamon too. Oh, which are a wonderful combination.
And then with this, we serve warm maple syrup.
You
Keep it
know,
nice
and that's
hot.
important. It doesn't take all that long to warm up, but it really makes a difference in the experience that you have on your plate.
Exactly.
So warm maple syrup.
Nice.
What else are we serving?
Got our homemade whipped butter. We whip in unsalted butter and just a little bit of salt in there for it. Nice and light and refreshing.
You know, they do say just a drop of salt intensifies the sweet flavor. And what are you going to top that
We're
with?
going to top it with a little powdered sugar. We like to use a shaker here so we can get a nice even coating on there. And it's not all over our hands. We do a nice line right down the French toast
You know
there.
you do. And if you don't have a shaker, you can use a little strainer
Yes, ma'am.
and just do that.
Little flour
I
sifter.
think this is ready to serve.
It is.
Okay, Chef, you know, we eat with our eyes first. It's time to plate the polenta fries. Tell us how we want to present this.
Well, we're going to present them in a fun little paper cup that we've got here and some dipping sauces.
Okay.
Nice and golden brown when they're done.
Perfect.
A little bit of salt and pepper on them.
Is that kosher salt?
This is
fresh?
kosher salt and fresh ground black
Fresh.
pepper. We make a little blend and keep it on the line. You'll see a couple of them broke here. That's okay.
Okay.
Just throw those down in first.
I want
There you
that.
go. There you go. All right. What we've made here is our red chili, aioli, and our sun-dried tomato ketchup. We're going to top our fries with our microplane here and some fresh grana padano
We were
cheese.
just talking about how we love microplanes.
It is one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. You can see how the cheese just
Oh,
snows
gorgeous.
down on there. And we also have a fresh chopped herbs. We use oregano, thyme, parsley, and our chopped herbs there. That's the blended fries.
And this is ready to go.
Ready to go.
Okay, sous chef Danny White. You know we do eat with our eyes first. How are we going to plate our charcuterie?
Well, as you know, we offer many selections in our menu.
I do.
So there's really no rhyme or reason to the plate up. Just make it look beautiful.
You can do that.
We'll start here with the copa picante.
Okay.
And we're just gonna lay it there, maybe fan it out a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move into the prosciutto.
So we're
Now this you can do a lot of fun things with. We're gonna pull one slice at a time here,
okay.
and we'll just give it a little twist and lay it down.
Cute. You know what? It also makes it more accessible for your diner because you just grab that little guy and the whole thing comes up. I've seen that done with smoked salmon.
Yeah, they
as
do.
well. Yes. Oh, nice. That's stunning prosciutto. We have to tell Italy about this. It's the only ones who can do this. All right, all right. So we have our meats here. What next?
Next, I usually like to put the bread in there so I
Okay.
can get a good idea of what space we have left
All
on
right.
the plate.
So here comes bread. Grilled bread. And did you use olive oil or what did you brush
We
it
did,
with?
yep,
You have
olive
olive oil? Okay. How pretty is that? Great bread, nice and thick. This is serious food.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, what next?
Now we'll place the garata on the plate as well. Mm-hmm. Good spot right there for it.
Okay.
Then we'll fill in with the olive oil and the cracked pepper.
And remembering that you put the cracked pepper in the container, in the ramekin before you put the olive oil, and I'm now going to be doing that.
It
And
just
if you-
mixes well.
It does. It does. And another little, I've seen red pepper flakes in there if you want a little heat.
Spice.
You could do that. Okay, and then
Our orange marmalade.
homemade.
And typically that's, you use the knife for the cheese or the marmalade, so we'll
Okay.
lay the knife on there as well.
Okay.
There's really not a whole lot of space left for the tete, so we'll pull this
But
tete
we'll
bone
find
out.
space for it anyway. And then
we'll
we
just
have
kinda
fun cutting.
flour it
Oh,
right in the center there.
pretty. This is a beautiful presentation for your guests. It encourages people to eat together and inspires conversation. Thank you for inviting us into your kitchen. I think now that we've prepared all the food, we need to go to the bar and start pairing.
Sounds great.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we have been in the kitchen at the Urban Table preparing chocolate French toast, fried polenta sticks, and a charcuterie platter. Now, we're not going to pair anything with the chocolate French toast, believing we might not be drinking in the morning, but the other two dishes do beg for something to drink with them. What do you suggest for the polenta sticks?
The polenta sticks I paired with a beer just because we do have a spicy sauce, spicy dipping sauce. So something to counteract that. It's a snack, so something easy, something cold and refreshing to go with the polenta.
So a nice match for the fried polenta. I know he also is serving the homemade ketchup with it.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
It's a great pair. Okay, now we have a charcuterie platter. Absolutely delicious. What should we be sipping with that?
Well, the charcuterie platter is very versatile. It can be paired with either a red or a white. So I chose a lighter red, Pinot Noir. It pairs nicely with mild hard cheeses and also with almost any meat.
Okay, so now the final test is we have invited a celebrity taster in, Johnny Rollins, a household name since 1983 in Kansas City. He's going to sample the food and sip the drinks.
Okay.
And he'll tell us what he thinks.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we have been in the kitchen at the Urban Table preparing a wide variety of foods. We went to the bar to pair it, and to taste it, we've invited our celebrity, Johnny Rollins, who is president of KC Copters and a voice that's been with us since 1983, telling us where the traffic hookups might be on our way to and from work. Johnny, thank you for taking the time out to taste our food and sip our drink.
What a rough job.
I know,
So
but
find
you
out.
can do it.
Okay.
Now, Chef Bradley, what are we drinking and what are we eating?
First, we've got the chocolate French toast that we make here at Urban Table. We bake the bread in-house, maple syrup and whipped butter with that.
Of course.
Next, we have our crispy polenta fries, a little Parmesan cheese on there. We have two sauces for dipping, red chili aioli and the sun-dried tomato ketchup. And we paired the Cremshaw Pilsner with that. And then we have one of our charcuterie boards. We've chosen a couple different meats and cheeses for you. The La Quercia prosciutto, the La Quercia Coppa Picante, burrata, and tête de mon cheese. Comes with grilled bread, olive oil and pepper, little homemade orange marmalade, and we paired Iraq Pinot Noir with that.
Oh, Chef, thank you. Now, our job, our task is to taste this, and the great thing about this food, it was meant for sharing, which is what food does. It's
Absolutely.
sharing. Now, you have to begin. What do you want to start with?
Well, I would consider this a breakfast dish.
It is.
So
Oh, we're going to start with
I
breakfast.
think it would only be, in sequence. You may have to explain some of this to me.
Okay, so French
Except for the
toast.
beer and the wine. I did
You
the
got
wine.
that part. Okay, French toast is traditionally made from an egg bread or brioche or
Mm-hmm.
challah, which is dense and rich. And what they've done is put chocolate in this. Okay, I know you can do this. Okay. Do you want some syrup or butter on it?
I will take both.
Okay, then I think you should.
Ooh, look at that. I don't think this is log cabin either, is
You
it?
know, no, not everything here. I mean, that is part. Oh, and it's warm. Did you feel that it was warm?
I've noticed the whole presentation is very nice. Is it
Okay,
not?
dig in and then tell me about it.
Okay.
So you would be starting your day with this, or actually, it's a great dessert on its own. All right.
Now, which beer Chef Brad, would we drink the beer or the wine with the?
Maybe neither.
Probably neither, but
that's what I
it's never
figured.
too early for beer.
Yeah, they're very well said.
Oh, good. They bake the bread here. Is that amazing? That's amazing. That's probably some of the best French toast I've ever had.
You can really taste the chocolate, but
It's not overwhelming.
no, it's perfectly balanced
It's
with everything
perfectly
else.
balanced because the bread's actually one of the stars of this dish. Oh, that is fabulous, and the syrup's perfect with it. You've had just a sampling of what breakfast could be here. I know we had to pull it away from you, which felt brutal, but on to the next, and these are polenta fries, which is a cornmeal mixture. They, of course, have made the dipping sauces, and you get to do your fingers, so okay.
Ooh, love it.
I know. Now,
Yes.
Chipotle dip or a more traditional ketchup, only of course it's house made,
Yeah.
sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, I have to
Or
try
both.
that.
You
I
could do
have to try
both.
that first.
You have to try that. I'm going to try the other just because you're trying that, and then tell me what you're tasting. Oh, my goodness!
This is delicious. The ketchup's unbelievable. I am a ketchup connoisseur.
There's a difference.
Yes, absolutely.
Homemade ketchup is totally. Oh my word! I'm turning the other side so you won't see me doing it. All right, I'm going to try the ketchup too.
Okay.
All right,
And what's this other?
It's Chipotle.
Okay.
So you got a little kick on the other if you like kick.
Incredible.
Unexpected. Now, we have to taste. We've been told we should do the beer with this.
Okay.
So,
Cheers.
to your health.
And yours as well.
Oh, I can see why they
Yeah.
did that.
That's perfect. Perfect sir.
That is perfect. It's got some bubbly to deal with the fried. And you know it works with either of the sauces.
Very
Do
complimentary
you think
to
we should have
to the
another
whole.
bite of
Yes,
this?
I do.
I do.
It's like the best ketchup.
You know, Americans really care about ketchup. We eat more hamburgers than any other food in America.
I can
It
imagine
frequently is attended with fries, and so ketchup matters.
that. It does.
Okay, Johnny, you've had a taste of breakfast.
Unbelievable.
We had a little snack with our polenta fries. Have you ever had polenta fries before?
No, but
Now you have.
You could have anything with that ketchup.
Got ketchup. Okay, the ketchup's the winner. And now it's time for a substantial snack with a charcuterie board of cheeses and meats. I know this is going to sound strange, but you'll have to trust me.
Okay.
That is combining this infused olive oil with something sweet like their marmalade, and then put cheese and meat on it. Okay.
Okay.
Please?
All right. I'm gonna start with the oil or the marmalade first.
Either one.
Start with
Doesn't
the
matter.
oil.
Okay.
And just do I dip it or do I?
Yeah, you could just kind of, there you go.
All right.
You know, there aren't a lot of how-tos. Now, they've grilled this bread.
Yeah.
Again, you could tell bread is a good thing here.
Yes.
I'm going to join you.
Okay.
Okay.
Take a little marmalade. Lady Marmalade.
You know, again, everything is house-made. And the beauty of this place is that if you don't feel like going out, you can get this food, take it home, and share it there.
Excellent.
All right, now, whatever cheeses you want. This is a softer, that's a harder cheese.
Okay. I think I'll go with that.
Okay.
Use my fork would probably be appropriate.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, man.
Now, whichever meat you want.
Oh, boy.
I know, it's a big choice. I'm going to go for this one. Look how beautifully they presented it. It's perfectly acceptable to use your fingers.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, heavens.
Well, now
Did
I'm
you
done.
see me? I know. Well, I watched you suffer, and that was sort of brutal, wasn't it? Okay. All right. Now, a taste. This is will be a taste.
Oh, my God.
Would never have thought of doing
No.
infused oil with
And you could
a
taste
marmalade.
You can taste them both, which is amazing. You think one would cover the other, or
I made grilled cheese sandwiches using marmalade and infused oil, and people have no idea what I did. It's our secret.
I'm still, but yeah,
Yeah.
okay, we'll kill it.
So, that cheese is amazing. See the difference when you take wonderful care with food product. Put it together right, present it in a way that's fun and exciting. And speaking of fun and exciting, I mean, that's your life. You get up every morning, you get in a helicopter, and you go flying over our city.
Doing traffic and stuff, and breaking news, and of course, tornado coverage, severe weather is huge, which is really neat.
Neat. Well, I'm so glad you feel that way about it. If I were in a helicopter and there were a tornado nearby, I wouldn't describe it as neat.
The neat part is the opportunity to help people, because, you know, giving the, and that's the only reason we do that. I mean, it's promotional, of course, but at the same time, it's kind of like the mentality of the fireman running into the burning building to rescue the baby.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how I approach it. And if I have an opportunity to show somebody what's coming towards them and they can take, you know, some precautions, then that's a pretty neat way
And
to do it.
you've been doing this since 1983.
Started traffic in an airplane in 1983, and then moved into helicopters in 1993. And I've been at Channel 9 now for almost 10 years. So.
And also, you're the familiar voice on radio for us as well.
KMBZ, I've been there since 1983, so that's going on 28 years. And I do traffic with Major Miles, double coverage traffic over there. And then I went to Kelly Urick in the morning and Tana Guthrie in the afternoon at 99.7 The Point. Two great intercom stations. So,
Yes, they are two great intercom stations.
So I'm a lucky guy.
Yes, you are. Now, lucky guy, you need to sip the wine with us and tell us what you think. And once again, to your health and to life.
Yes, and to flying in helicopters.
And to flying helicopters and eating good food.
Boy, they couldn't have done this any better.
They couldn't have done it any
Yeah,
better.
I mean, these are so perfect.
That was just like a little drop of sweet at the very end that pairs beautifully
Yes.
with the sweet and the bold flavors of the cheese and the meat and the oil.
Very
We
well
have
done.
a perfect match here.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for all the years of protecting us with your information, both for traffic and weather. And thank you for taking time out to be our celebrity taster here at the Urban Table.
It's the least I could do. Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabakoff, your host of In the Kitchen with Bonnie. We are pleased to bring you the continuation of a new feature, In the Cellar by Marquee Selections. Chris Cribb is with us.
Thanks,
and
Bonnie.
we are in the wine room here at Gaslight Grill, so a thank you to our hosts. This week, we are going to feature the wines of Australia, and that's where it all began for you and for Marquee Selections. So before we get to that country and those wines, let's talk a little bit about Marquee.
Okay, absolutely. Well, Australia is where we got our beginnings. And what we have is a company that small business here based out of Kansas City that was looking for a way to get into the wine business. Went to Australia and found that there were a lot of small wineries there, and small in production is like less than 50,000 cases, and those people couldn't export to the United States because it was like every state was its own country, had a lot of pressure to be able to do the whole thing, and so we decided to put a number of those wineries together and bring them under one brand, which is the Marquee Australian Wines brand.
Okay.
We developed that in 2003, and since then have been growing the wine business. I
So
felt
you-
like I kind of got bit by the wine bug myself.
Apparently, and your passion for it is evident not only in talking with you, but of course with the wines that you have selected from around the world. Your portfolio goes.
Sure, yeah, our portfolio has grown from Australia to where we have now a focus on green, sustainable, organic wineries.
Thank you for that.
That are, well,
Thank
thank our winemakers for that. They're the ones that are doing the hard practices to be able to make sure that everything comes as clean, as crisp, as God intended. So what we've done with the other regions, we have Argentina, we have Portugal, Spain, and we're continuing to work on some other new developments that we will be bringing out here in 2011 and 2012. So,
well, you have a wonderful home here on in the kitchen, in that so many of our chefs care about organic and sustainable. So we appreciate you taking that same care with the wine.
Well, and the other thing that I think your chefs would probably echo as well is that we are providing value wines. We have put ourselves in a niche where we're doing between $10 and $25 per bottle at a retail store. Not the wines that are $100 a bottle. I mean, those are great,
sure,
but they're just not for everyday drinking. And so we wanted to find something
or everyday people.
Everyday people, yeah. That's value driven, but the top of the value driven.
The top of the value driven. So let's go to Australia, where it began for Marquis.
Okay.
And what do we have?
So let's think of Australia first.
Okay.
We'll think of the map, and we go Australia as a country. Is a big open space where the middle of it is nothing grows.
Okay.
And so what you look at is you've got wine regions that go along the coast and down through the south. And so what we've selected from Australia here is a Riesling and a Shiraz. We have two series of wines we do from Australia. One's our Marquis Classic series. They're the $11.99 retail wines, and that's where we have the Riesling in. We have 4 wines in that category, and then the Shiraz is a single vineyard specific site in the McLaren Vale, which is in South Australia, right down at the bottom of the world, basically.
All right. So let's talk about the white wine first.
Sure.
Okay, what do we have?
So we have Riesling, and when you think Riesling, a lot of people think sweet.
I do.
What we've done is the Riesling in an off-dry style. So dry is almost mouth-watering. Off-dry goes between sweet and dry. Okay. So it kind of runs the middle there. This is from Victoria, which is in the mountains. Some of the high country there. We get some nice bright citrus fruit to it.
You do.
A lot of lime and lemon and
what would you pair with this?
I think this would be a great pair for sushi, something not everyone likes, but I do. Okay. It would be a great pair.
Yeah, Did you say seafood?
Seafood. Yes. It would be a great pair for Asian food as well. I think that this would go really well with a nice grilled shrimp. Things that it's very, very versatile, and it actually is a great drink on its own. As a starter for a meal. When you want people to just have something kind of light and palate cleansing. Just the little snacks of some Granny Smith apples and some nuts.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start the meal.
It is a good way to start it. And what temperature again? The usual white?
You're going to make this nice and cool. You're going to serve it right about a little off of fridge temperature, so about 45 degrees, and it'll be nice and crisp.
So start pouring it fairly soon after you take it out of the refrigerator.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
now let's talk about the red.
Okay. Well, the red we've got is the McLaren Vale Shiraz. As I said, McLaren Vale is in the middle of Australia. The Shiraz is the grape that Australia is known for. The biggest. Is also the same grape as Syrah. So if you see those in a store, you'll know that they are actually the same.
So the grape Shiraz is also the grape Syrah that originally came from France?
It originally came from France.
Okay.
So it's one of the main noble grapes that's grown in the southern part of France, in the region down at the south, and it's there mixed with a lot of other grapes, Mourvedre and Côte d'Aron is an area that Syrah is actually from. So this one here, you find a lot of big bold fruit. I'd say kind of that raspberry flavor to it. It's got that hint of tobacco again. It's got a
little bit smoky.
It's a little smoky, but when you start to get it on the palate, what you see is that it's got more spice to it. It's got the McLaren Vale region is known for having a big, very full body. So it covers your mouth, it coats your mouth, and then at the end you've got that nice lift of spice left to it.
What would you pair this Shiraz with?
Well, if you're doing an Australian Barbie, you know, cranking up the Barbie. A pork tenderloin would be a very great pairing with this. You know, I like really rich red meat sauces with this. It seems a little, it could stand up for meats as well, but you know, something like a spaghetti bolognese sauce.
So it likes tomato, it likes meat, it likes that rich kind of red meat flavor.
Yes, it likes that rich red meat flavor.
And so what kind of cheeses would you pair with it?
Oh, a cheese. One of my favorites is from Australia. You might have to go to your local cheese store to find it.
Okay.
It's called Roaring Forties. It's a blue cheese. It is a really neat blue cheese, and I think that would be good. I've had some of the Green Hill Dirt Farm fresh
Local
local
cheesemaker.
cheesemaker. They do a fresh goat cheese that would be a nice pairing with this too.
Okay, so it's fairly versatile. And what temperature for our Shiraz?
For our Shiraz, I would say, you know, as it's a little lighter in alcohol, you probably can just go room temperature. You don't really need to chill it down because
Don't chill it down. You don't need to.
It's not going to change it very much. If I had this for a few years in my cellar, I would look at maybe going ahead and decanting it so that it doesn't throw any of the sediment in there. It is an unfined, unfiltered wine, so after a few years, it'll get a little bit of a good crust to it on the side when it's on its side.
And so I've traditionally thought of, well, you don't decant white wines, but we were talking earlier, and the purpose of decanting is really to work with the sediment that has
the purpose
collected?
the purpose is really twofold.
Okay.
You know, you have one, you do decanting so that you are opening up a wine to air.
Okay.
So, you know, if you have a very young wine, you know, if you've got the $100 bottle that you've always wanted and you bought it early and you want to try it early, decant it, because that will allow it to open up and get some more air and be more like the winemaker intended.
Okay.
But the second reason is really because of sediment, and that you'll find that with white wines too. You know, if a nice white wine, Chardonnay, been sitting on its side that was supposed to age for 10 years, you pulled it out, you'll see a little bit of like a small crystal type of a thing kind of form at the edge.
We don't want to be drinking that.
You don't want to be drinking
No.
that, so that's a good reason to decant as well.
Well, you've taken wonderful care in selecting these wines from around the world, and apparently Wine Spectator has recognized your efforts in giving you the highest mark at the most reasonable prices for your wine portfolio. And what do you attribute to that accomplishment?
Well, Bonnie, I really think that there's a couple things. I must say that first, one of the things with our portfolio, our winemakers are the stars. You know, we have our head winemaker down in Australia, Keith Bryan, has been with us from the beginning, and he has a great palate. He finds the best juice every year for the Marquis brand, and in doing so, he tastes a lot. He goes through a lot to find the best. And so when we found that same philosophy on all of our wines, so everything that we bring in has been blind tasted here against competition that is out in the market, and we find that doing that really helps to make sure that we are giving the best. And giving the best is fine, but we take it a step further by giving unique things. You know, we don't say that we're going to have 100 different Chardonnays. We have one really unique Chardonnay from the Yarra Valley, or one Shiraz from the McLaren Vale. Australian Riesling, you know, a lot of different places are doing Riesling, but we felt like this is something that they were doing that hasn't been shown to as many people here in the United States, and so here we are.
Here we are. So if you want to impress your dinner guests with a unique and delicious wine experience, Marquis Selections would be a place to go. How do we find you? How do we learn more about your portfolio?
Well, we have done a lot to work to put all of these wines on our website, www.marquis.com. We have a toll-free number, so 888-627-7833, which spells Marquis. I know my phone doesn't have those numbers on it anymore, but...
And Marquis, again, is M-A-R-Q-U-E-E.
E-E. And we'd be happy to hear from anybody. On our website, we've got a web store, as well as we have an area that shows all of the retailers and restaurants in the local area. So we like to help support those people.
Okay, well, we appreciate your time, your expertise, and the great care that you take with Marquis Selections. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us into your cellar. We'll see you again next week in the cellar.
Cheers.